What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. I'm here in the building with Nonpfixion. What's good, baby?
Man, I'm chilling, bro. After after Monday Night Football, I don't even know what to think
Man,
anymore.
hey, Drew Lock, man.
Who would have
Philly.
thought?
Philly.
Yeah.
I feel I need everybody just to lean in. All the coaching staff. You just lost to Drew Lock. How? Like he played a good game for what it's worth. It's not trashing him, but it's like
Oh, that
Philly.
last drive, yes.
Offensive coaching scheme was just horrible. They ran when they shouldn't have, passed when they shouldn't have, throw a deep bomb with 12 seconds left when all you need is a field goal and 15 yards. I don't get it. But they'll move on to see another day, dropping behind the Cowboys, even though they had a chance to reclaim the division. But we'll move into week 16 where my New Orleans Saints have a chance to make the playoffs. I'm really trying not to jump on the happy train and expect all kind of great expectations for them, especially since we beat two bad teams in the Giants and Carolina. But it was good to see us have a real complete game versus the Giants yesterday. So I'm trying to ride that high as long as I can, hoping that it goes into Thursday night where we will be live for in the channel. I'll be decked out, have me a couple beers to several, ready to go, and hopes that we win, and hard liquor if we lose. But what do you think of this game?
I mean, to be honest, if the team that has shown up the last couple of weeks goes into SoFi Stadium, I can see them pulling the W. But at the same time, I can see them reverting to this because they've been having a turbulent season so far.
That's
it's kind of hard to pick. It's kind of hard to pick, to be honest, because Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua have been looking great the last couple of weeks as well. They've been looking outstanding,
very good. They've been looking very good. And let's not forget about Kyron Williams too. My dude is a machine. Right. I think he had 132 rush yards yesterday. Unbelievable.
As much as just as a fan of the team, which we talked about before, that I believe the Saints can do it, I'm gonna just go on a limb and say Rams will probably pull it up out.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I think the Rams win. I think the Rams are very efficient in scoring, and that's something that the Saints have not been. We have been successful as of the last couple of weeks, but again, against bad teams. As a fan, though, I mean, I'm saying the Saints got what it takes. I mean, if we can get pressure on Matthew Stafford, who's nowhere near as mobile as what DeVito was, and we're able to sack him 7 times and make him feel uncomfortable, then we can win. That's where it starts, is pressure on Matthew Stafford. And then Carr just playing how he's done the last 2 weeks. We really need him to keep getting in that role.
Protect the rock. Protect the rock, man.
So I'm going Saints as a fan, but realistically, I think the Rams are the better team. But we will see on Thursday.
Yeah.
Next up will be the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, Jake Browning has been doing some phenomenal things. What's crazy is that he's actually leading in pass yards and touchdowns over, Pickett. And then I think Trubisky had someone said he threw an interception in the end zone or something like that. I don't understand what's going on with the Steelers. They're now sitting at 7-7, and I think they're finally coming down to earth. Everybody was looking at this as a playoff team. Everybody in this division can make the playoffs, and I'm like, Steelers don't deserve to be there. And I think the Bengals are going to go ahead and win this game, even with Jamar Chase being out.
Man, what can I say about Pittsburgh? This team is not worth it. This team is not who you all think they are. Pittsburgh fan, I'm sorry. One of my friends was speaking to him the other day, and she was like, she could tell. She's like, this team does not deserve this record that they have. They don't. You have 2 quarterbacks that, aren't really good right now. And they even brought in Mason Rudolph. You brought in Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph, that's who you brought in.
Mason Rudolph.
But
to the Super Bowl.
I mean, Jake Browning is winning this game. He's winning.
Yeah.
Jake
I mean, this thing, and I really don't even want to come off as hard as what we have been with the Steelers, because we have been just super negative, and that's normally not how we run our streams and how we run our shows. But it's when you see just the absolute negligence of a team, whether it's just wide receivers just not trying on plays, a quarterback that obviously isn't good enough to be a starter in this league, still getting shine and praises for no reason. You see guys not living up to expectations, and that's when it starts getting frustrating for me as just a fan of football, because I have no beef with the Steelers. I used to love watching the Steelers play. But one of the first Super Bowls I remember is the toe touched tap by Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone against Arizona. It's one of the first Super Bowls like in my deepest memories. But yeah, Bengals got this one. Next up on Saturday on Peacock will be between the Bills and the Chargers. Bills look nice. They still have a long way to go to try and get into playoffs just because it is very tight in the AFC right now. And the Chargers just look absolutely lost after getting just obliterated.
Man.
Bills?
Yeah, I'm going Bills. I mean, after the game the Chargers threw up last week, yeah, it's no way I can even think to pick them over the Bills.
Yeah.
Bills all day.
The only thing I needed to see with the Bills, I'm glad James Cook had a career game.
Yes.
I don't know why he didn't get the game ball. I don't know if you saw that. They gave the ball to Josh Allen. That is ridiculous because James Cook had that dude ate all game. But I need, if they want to do anything in playoffs, if they get there or when they get there, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have to figure it out because they are not in sync right now, and that is going to be a problem. They are just not locked in. Next game up will be between the Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons. Who you got in this one, man? Falcons just lost to the Panthers, so I don't. That means any team can beat them.
Loss to the Panthers is enough said for me. I'm going with the Colts. Period.
Yeah. I'm rocking with the Colts as well. I didn't watch that game. I mean, most people didn't watch that game. Tickets were 45 cents. So,
yeah,
it's just ugly.
All I saw was the beginning of the game where they showed the crowd and showed how many people weren't there. Yeah, that was disappointing. Disappointing for an NFL team.
Yeah, it's a bad look. High schools in Texas get double their capacity right now. Next up is going to be the Seahawks and the Titans, who just have a great win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Can they go ahead and take out the Titans, who are just been a wishy-washy team, even though they have been pretty decent at home for the most part? Levis has some moments where he, looks really good. And then the coaching is really a big thing again with this team, where they just ran Henry nonstop, and they're like, oh, well, we've done that before in the past, and it helped us win. Yeah, but it's also helped y'all lost a lot. And if the run game's just not working, don't force it. Like, go to other options and then go back to it. It don't make sense.
There was definitely a couple times I watched some of that games, and there was definitely times where they were just force feeding him. Like, I understand he has to get his touches. It's probably in his contract, a certain amount of touches, but it doesn't make sense. And Seahawks coming off a big win, Drew Lock, like we said, let him down at the last minute, 20-something seconds, got the dub. It was a great drive. To be honest, I can see Seahawks winning this. Titans, it depends on the game plan. Game plan for them have been very wishy-washy throughout the entire season. There hasn't been any set of time where you're like, okay, this team is something. No, dude, we know that Will Levis is something. We know that Henry is something, but as a whole, we have no idea what this team really is. No. But Seahawks, they have something together, and they have great players, great consistency, great coaching. Seahawks would win.
Yeah, Titans are having an identity crisis issue. It used to be all Derrick Henry, but I mean, age happens. Running that man to the ground like they have over the last 5 years, however long it's been, and trying to just still doing it and realize it's not working anymore, guys. It's not working. So yeah, I'm with you. I got Seahawks, and Seahawks are in contention for the playoffs now, going 7-7 after beating the Eagles. So they really want to keep this winning going. Next up will be Lions and Vikings. Vikings, another team that's in the hunt in the NFC to get in as a wild card, but they're going to go up against the Lions, and the Vikings have been struggling severely. Lions had a great game this past week.
Yes, they did. It
was good to see.
Jared Goff finally kind of found himself within inside the last couple of weeks and has been playing really good. Detroit Lions sitting at 10-4, 5-2 away. Vikings 7-7, still actually having a pretty decent season, even with all the turmoil of losing quarterbacks and quarterbacks being benched for other quarterbacks. Like it's been an interesting situation for the Vikings, not to say the least. But I do expect Detroit to continue rolling and just roll right into the playoffs with a dub right here.
I agree. Next up is going to be Commanders and Jets. I'll tell you one game I will not be watching this weekend is this one. I'm just going to go ahead and say the Jets, just because I think they're going to get a lot of pressure on Howell. It's going to be a lot of sacks and some turnovers, and that's really what the story of the tape's going to be. Who knows? Maybe Aaron Rodgers will suit up. That'll be interesting. I think he's finally cleared. He cleared.
I think so. He did clear.
So he technically could play this week. That would be interesting. I'm
I
gonna go
mean, I
Jets.
mean, why not? I mean, Zach Wilson says he doesn't really care, he doesn't want to play. So might as well put somebody who actually wants to play. But at the same time, I do think the defense of the Jets will be the determining factor in this game. Washington Commanders, pretty much they're happy with their selection for the draft already. They're not going nowhere. They're eliminated from playoffs. There's nothing else they can do besides be a spoiler. And I don't think they're good enough to be a spoiler at this moment. So I'm going with the New York Jets for the dub.
It's crazy when they got to be a spoiler against the 5-9 Jets, but that's really how it feels. That's
how it feels.
Next up is going to be Packers and Panthers. Man, Packers actually played a semi-decent game against Tampa, but Baker Mayfield had a night, and we'll talk about him more in a couple seconds. They're facing the Panthers who came away with a win. Packers had an upsetting loss. Every time they would score, other team would come back and score on them. But they should have what it takes to beat the Panthers, right?
They should. Should. This is Christmas Eve. I know it's about, giving, but I don't think Packers are trying to give away a dub to the Panthers. This is easily about the Grinch, and they already are the green team, so we're going to call them the Grinch. The Green Bay Grinches getting the dub on Christmas
Green
Eve.
Bay Grinches. I love it. Then we're going to have the Browns versus the Texans. What's the stats on CJ Stroud? Will he be able to get back this week?
I mean, as of right now, he is still technically in, a questionable protocol for. But I believe because he's gone past the 8 days, he should be fine, unless there's something deeper that's an issue. But I do believe he comes back for this game. Because what they're sitting at 8-6, so if anything, if he's fine, he's coming back. He's coming back. They need to get a W.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been an upsetting kind of end. Like a lot of injuries just kind of out of nowhere for the Texans. They kind of felt it all at once with Tank Dell going out, Nico Collins being questionable on and off game, having limited practices and stuff like that. And then Browns are, kind of the same boat, but they've been dealing with injuries all year. And it kind of feels like Flacco has honestly been, even a better quarterback than what they've had earlier on. Now he has thrown a bunch of interceptions, but he has 7 touchdowns, which isn't too bad for the old man. You think they have enough to take down Houston in Houston?
I mean, with the leadership they now have with Flacco, I think there is potential. But the one thing is Brown's defense doesn't travel well. And we've seen that over and over whenever they go into wherever they go to, the defense just doesn't show up like when they're at home. So they're 2-4 on the road, so I expect them to go in there and possibly put up. It's going to probably be a close matchup, but I think Texans are going to pull it out at the end.
Yeah, I like to see Texans win, man. I like to see them get a playoff game. I'm rock with the Texans. Next up would be the Jags and the Bucks, and this one's interesting because the Buccaneers feel like there's a lot of games where they have found exactly how they expect them to play, right? And then they have other games where you don't know what's going on. Baker Mayfield coming off a perfect game. And I think some people were saying it might be his first perfect game of his NFL career. He did everything. And then you got the Jags who I feel like have all the pieces, but don't know how to connect them. Like they have all the pieces to the puzzle, but they don't have the picture on how to put the puzzle together. And, I know losing Christian Kirk was huge for them. That is a big target for Trevor Lawrence. But at the same time, you still have Ridley. You still have Etienne. You have Ingram. You have some other receivers that have been able to be accessible. But the problem is they don't stick with what works. We saw at the beginning of this past week where ran the ball a couple times straight away, had some good carries. Etienne had a nice little design screenplay for about 6 to 8 yards, moving the ball upfield, and then all of a sudden he just stops getting touches. He had 10 carries that game, and I think he had like 2 or 3 targets. It doesn't make sense how they utilize players, and I feel like that's their downfall. I need the Jags to win this game, but I think the Buccaneers can easily take it if they catch the Jags slipping, especially at their home field. I'm going to go Tampa.
They definitely can. They definitely can't catch Jaguars slipping because Jaguars have been caught slipping several times this season where they have 6 losses because of the game plan against the scheme. If you have someone such as Travis Etienne Jr., and he's an outstanding back, feed this man the rock. Let him get his opportunities. 10 touches is not enough. I understand Jaguars, just like other teams, it's towards the end of the season where these players are trying to get their numbers and also trying to hit those marks to get that contract payday. And you try not to do that. So that's why you're changing the game plan up. Hey, we're not stupid. We know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. Right. But at the same time, you rather do that and risk not winning games, or you think the two backup that you've thrown in the game is quality enough when they're not. Feed this man the rock and let Travis cook.
With Christian Kirk out, there's no reason why Etienne shouldn't be getting a minimum of 16 carries a game, like 15 to 16 carries. There should be no reason he doesn't get at least that. So who you got in this one? I don't think I heard you.
I do think the potential there is the Bucks, especially if they utilize Mike Evans, which the last couple of games they've kind of been wishy-washy going towards them. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars, but like you said earlier, I can easily see the Bucks sneaking a dub out too.
I hope the Jags win. I'd like to go to the playoffs, man. Next up, we'll have oh man, can I I'm just gonna say Bears. I don't.
Either way, the Bears win in this game. It doesn't matter because they get the pick. It doesn't matter.
They don't. So, they don't care.
Bears. Let's go on to the next one.
Yeah. All right. Cowboys, Dolphins. This is an interesting one. Cowboys coming off a loss. Probably the worst performance of the year for Dak Prescott. And, we all remember that Cardinals game, but he looked rough. They could not get anything clicking or going. They finally found CeeDee Lamb for a touchdown, like the very ending part of the game. It's just not the way you expected them to come out after finally taking the division away from the Eagles. And then to come out and look like this. Now facing a team in the Dolphins who Tyreek Hill should be back fully healthy this coming week. It will be in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. And the worst part about Tyreek going out is that Waddle was able to be released and that man got active. Yeah. And so now you're looking at that two-headed monster that we expected at the beginning of the season that we really didn't get because Tyreek was just taking all the touches. So how do we see this game going?
Man, this one should be a very entertaining and fun game to watch. Straight out the box. Dallas needs to rebound. I'm not sure what they need to do to actually rebound because it's not just on Dak. Dak did have a bad game, but collectively they had a bad game. Pollard wasn't outstanding like he has been throughout the season.
That's like 4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb got the rock, but didn't really get it enough to really be a determining factor in the game. And the defense of Dallas didn't show up like they normally do. So I think both teams have something to prove because they both have had issues beating teams that have winning records. So this is the question: who's going to stand out? Who's going to be on top of the victory mound when it's all said and done? I do believe it will be the Cowboys.
I think it's going to be the Cowboys too.
Yeah.
Cowboys, you had one opportunity to go ahead and just take that one lead gap over Philly. Don't screw it up this time. Don't screw it up this time. Give me the Cowboys. Next up will be Patriots and Broncos on Sunday night, which is Christmas Eve. I forget all this is Christmas Eve. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
Right around the corner. Patriots and Broncos. I'm rolling with the Broncos, man. I think the Patriots are they just don't know what's going on right now. They're lost.
I'm curious to see with the Patriots defense how they're going to set up. Because the one thing that I do like about the Patriots defense that they've done throughout the season, they always take away one aspect of your game.
They do a really good job at that. You are right.
I'm curious what aspect of the Denver game they're going to take away. Are they going to take away the run game, which is kind of already not there to begin with? Are they going to focus on Russell Wilson and put so much pressure on him that he's going to make mistakes? So which one is it? Because you only got Sutton because he doesn't really throw to Judy. It's only Sutton. So if they take out Sutton and he has to depend on Judy, that could be a problem because he don't like throwing to Judy. We see that.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, Patriots defense it's crazy how there's so many teams that have or a few teams that have some poor records, but really do have top defenses. Patriots and Jets, for example, they have game-changing defense, but have no offense to be able to
none whatsoever
pull the power into their side. I'm still going to go with the Broncos. I think they're, trying to really fight for that playoff spot. I don't think they're going to end up getting it by the end of things, but I'm going to go ahead and go with the Broncos on this one.
Yeah, so I predict that the Patriots will take Sutton out, but we will see Judy show up.
Okay.
And Denver will win.
Next up, we're gonna have the the Las Vegas Raiders, 63-point team facing the Chiefs. Man, look, this is a game. I'm telling you, I'm just like would be like, all right, now give me your point, and then I would just say Chiefs, and like it still feels like it should be that. But it's kind of crazy that they're favored by 10 points in this game after the Raiders just do that to the Chargers, who I know are stinky. But the Chiefs haven't been great either. You know, they definitely have had plenty of mistakes. They've gotten to the point where they're blaming the referees for every reason why they lose instead of sitting there blaming their receivers that have brick for hands.
Interesting. Even like us.
Even T Swizzle, bro, is out there saying F the refs. She even got them turned against the NFL. Hey, that stuff was funny. I'm not gonna lie. But who you got in this game, Don? Let me know.
I mean, the logical person says, "Oh, the Patriots." I mean, the Patriots, but basically the Patriots, the Chiefs. they should win this game. But I feel like, as bad as the Chiefs have been playing last couple of weeks, there is an opportunity for the Raiders to pull a W out here. There's definitely opportunity how the defense has stepped up big time.
That's what I'm gonna go. Too.
I'm gonna go with my soul and say the Raiders. Hey. But I wouldn't be mad if Chiefs won because everyone expects that to happen. But if the Raiders go in there and pull out a dub on Christmas, oh my god!
Like I'm gonna go with the logical choice of the Chiefs, but I'm telling you, I'm rooting for the Raiders. Cause I'll tell you what, that's what I was gonna say. That defense is what's been the difference for me. That defense has been the difference. And, they try to cover up Crosby and try to take him out of the game. Well, then guess what? They had 3 other guys that turned up and decided they're going to go get set.
They just showed up, man. They just come out of nowhere. And these guys, no one expected these guys to do anything. They've talked so bad on those guys, and they've been doing really well. So
look, we saw the interceptions that happened, right?
Yeah.
And we see the interceptions that are happening in Chiefs Kingdom. So you might need to be a little careful. Be a little careful. Next up, we're gonna have the New York Giants versus the Eagles. Giants coming off a tough loss. Eagles coming off a tough loss. I mean, Eagles can't lose another one, right? Like this is the easiest stretch of football that they have right now.
They played
facing the Giants twice, and but I'll tell you what, I said that I thought the Eagles should have blown out, and I still think they should have blown out the Seahawks and set their standard again. I think this might end up being a closer game than what it should, and that would be embarrassing for the Eagles. I'm going Eagles, but I feel like it may be closer than what it's supposed to be.
I think the Eagles will win because they're going to take some cues from the blueprint that the Saints laid out to get those 7 sacks. But the key for New York is actually DeVito. Slowing down him when he gets on the run. The one, everybody worries about Jalen Hurts, but nobody thinks that DeVito is actually as elusive as he actually is. Mm-hmm. He's a really good runner once he gets into open field. But I do expect the Eagles to win. But the Giants, don't sleep on them because they will take that dub.
And then that'll go ahead and bring us into our last game, which could this possibly be a Super Bowl, a pre-Super Bowl game? Could this be a foreshadowing of what's to come in February between the Ravens and the Niners? I mean, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on the Ravens yet. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sold that they're a great team, but I think the AFC, has a lot of competitive teams, and the Ravens haven't been, like, super, super exciting. Now also losing Keaton Mitchell, and having some different injuries and stuff that they're dealing with, but they're finding ways to win game. And defensively, they are playing phenomenal football. But is it enough to stop a powerhouse team like the Niners, who have so many different places they can go to with the ball offensively?
And I know we were discussing this in our live stream today. I like both teams. I like what both teams have been doing. I do think that there are some deficiencies on the offensive side of the ball for the Ravens at times. It's not just Lamar choosing the wrong times to run. It's just sometimes the players are just not running the correct routes. They're being lazy on routes. They're not catching the rock. And it's like then when you put the ball so much into Lamar's hands where he has to be the determining factor, he's been playing steady throughout the season, not outstanding throughout the season. Mm-hmm. But when you look over on the Niners side, they've been playing so well together as a team.
Yeah, especially when they're all healthy, man. When they're all healthy, it's hard to beat them.
dangerous when you have
No.
McCaffrey and Ayuk and Debo and Kittle, and like you said, we had Jennings and we had the backup running backs who are just as good. They're not just not McCaffrey, but they're still good quality running backs.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a precursor to Super Bowl, I will be happy to watch this in Super Bowl. I do feel like the Niners are going to come out on top. Sorry, Mozzie, just being honest. I do feel like the Niners will come out on top though.
I just hope it's a competitive game. I mean, this is a really good chance for the Ravens to like really show up and show out.
Just show up.
This is, I mean, this is Christmas night. Everything's winding down. The amount of people that are going to be
Mhm.
sitting back and watching this, it's going to be all of them, and all eyes are. Everybody's probably thinking about the same thing. This could potentially be a matchup in the Super Bowl. This could be a precursor.
Yes.
This could be a foreshadowing moment of what we could see. How will it turn out? People are going to have a keen eye on what matchups look like, how they're defensively scheming for the other team, or how they're offensive scheme for the other team. They're all aware. We're all aware. I think the Niners have the better team, but I really would like to see the Ravens do something special. I mean, the thing with the Ravens is, you know, you talk about some of the issues with the wide receivers, like dropping balls or maybe running the wrong routes and in different situations like that. You got to remember how young this wide receiver core is for the Ravens. For them to be able to get this far at their youthful age is impressive.
Yeah.
To say the less.
I do agree.
So
I do agree with that.
I got the Niners winning it, but I hope it's a really good, close game. And I believe Non will try and be live for this game, so make sure y'all can tune into that. I, unfortunately, will not be home. But if we have a, what's called a premiere up and loaded, make sure y'all tune in.
So, like I said in the stream last week, not this week, if everything works out, I should be live for this game. So that's the goal. The goal is to be live for this game.
Yes, sir. But that wraps it up for us, guys. Go ahead and let us know in the comments who you got winning, who you got losing. Let us know about your favorite team and what they need to do to either seal their deal in the playoffs or contend for a Super Bowl, or what they need to get ready for next year. We'll be live on Wednesday, which will be either the day after this is released or the day that this is released, and we'll be taking on guests to come and join us to have a conversation with us about their team. So make sure you come and join us for that live podcast. We'll catch you on the next one, guys. My name is Zach.
My name is Nonpfixion.
And this is Real Fan Sports. Cheers.
Peace out.